Hi and welcome back. Let's talk about sensitive skin because so many of you are saying that you have sensitive or sensitized skin in lockdown and what's causing it, and probably one of the main triggers is stress. However, there are new products being formulated, including some serums for sensitive skin, and I find the fact that serums are now being targeted to sensitive skin really interesting because traditionally it's been all about balms and creams and quite ungent sort of potions and oils. There are two serums and an oil, and I want to look at them in detail and talk about what causes sensitive skin. So sensitive skin tends to be drier. Sensitized skin, sensitive skin is genetic. Sensitized skin is caused by the overuse of products or changes in environment, so after traveling or illness or something like that. Anybody can have sensitized skin. Sensitive skin tends to be a specific type of skin, and it tends to be on the drier side, and it's sensitive to most things. What they all have in common is they have an impaired barrier function, and your barrier function is your skin's ability to keep all the nasties out and keep the good stuff in. What your skin essentially needs is lots of water, and what it doesn't need is irritant, pollution and UV light and all those things that will aggress your skin from the outside in. Now, the most important part of repairing your barrier function is your stratum corneum, which is the surface layer of the skin, and more importantly, your natural moisturising factors. It was a term that was originally coined, I think, in the late 50s, and it's a collection of chemicals that appear naturally within the skin, that are formed naturally within the skin. And some people have good NMF, natural moisturising factors, but as you get older, your natural moisturising factors tend to tail off, and people with impaired barrier function and sensitive skin tend to have a poorer NMF. It's also known as your NMF SOUP, which I quite like. That sounds like a kind of cool name for a band, right? A dance troupe. So your natural moisturising soup is the balance of things that make up your natural moisturising factors, and they're essentially it's the makeup of the molecules that keeps your skin watertight, and it's mainly amino acids, but it's also urea, certain minerals and salts and sugars, things like magnesium, peptides, glycerol, hyaluronic acid, certain sugars that bond water into the skin as well. And one of the most important things are lactates and PCA, and they're two of the amino acids that keeps your skin kind of flexible, elastic, watertight, healthy, but also allows it to produce the enzymes that break down whatever skincare gets on the surface of your skin. It can break down the enzymes so that your skin can shed skin cells, but it can also produce the enzymes that break down any skin products that go on your skin so your skin can absorb it. So it is essentially the guard between you and the outside world, and the healthiest skin have the healthiest balance of the natural moisturising factors. Soup. I love that term, soup. If you think about it like that, it kind of makes sense. So it keeps your skin elastic and flexible, it activates those hydrolytic enzymes, and it supports your barrier function, or the ability to keep water in your skin. And younger skin tends to have a better NMF barrier function than older skin. So let's have a look at what's been introduced to the market with an aim of repairing your barrier function. I'm going to start with, I think, probably the most interesting product that's been launched, and that's the new La Roche-Posay TOLERIANE DERMALLERGO serum, and I absolutely love it. And it was very interesting because when I looked at this in detail, I noticed it had something called 1% neurosensine in it, and I was like, what the hell's that? It's basically a dipeptide, and it's a dipeptide, repairs the barrier function, and has been proven to work even in skin with rosacea. So look up those studies online, look for neurosensine, but just look at La Roche-Posay L'Oreal dipeptide for sensitive skin and all the studies will come up. I really like this serum. It's an absolutely typical serum based feel to it, so it's lightweight, it's hydrating. Obviously it's the Roche-Posay TOLERIANE, so it's unscented. It instantly cools and soothes the skin, unfragranced. Love, 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 love. Really good research behind it. I think it would work really well for anybody with sensitive skin, with troublesome skin, with sensitized skin. If you've had a treatment, one day we will get out and we'll have treatments. Maybe you've had a facial and your skin's had a bit of a flare up. This is something I would put onto red skin, to inflamed skin, to sensitized skin. If you've maybe had an insect bite or you've got a rash. It's just one of those kind of emergency SOS serums, and I really, really like it. I would even probably use it on perioral dermatitis in the day. You keep my Rose-X for night, but I really like it. It's a great product, and I think the research behind it is really interesting. It's got such a lovely feel to it. Other things that have been launched in terms of serums, and I think this is a really interesting one. This is the new Kate Somerville, and it's part of her Delikate range. Now, you know that the Delikate range has always had a cream. Here it is here. So it's always had a reparative cream. Well, there's now a cleanser, and there's also a serum, and I really like this serum. Now, Kate Somerville has a mix of fragranced and unfragranced products, and this was developed actually for people that had a reaction to a treatment. So, for example, if you're going to have some laser, or you're going to have some light therapy, you're going to have a little bit of micro needling, a little bit of extraction, anything like that, and you wanted something to calm your skin when you went home. This is when this was first developed. This is a lovely serum. Obviously, I really like the fact that it's unfragranced, and it's basically incredibly rich in peptides, which have been proven to repair the barrier function. Oh, it's lovely. And it's absolutely loaded with ceramides and glycerin. Now, what's interesting is both glycerin and ceramides and certain peptides are part of the natural moisturising factor anyway. So it's basically putting back what your skin needs. Such a lovely product, and I really like the fact that they've themed it alongside the goat milk range. So all of those are perfect for sensitive skin. It's a really nice add-on to the range. Well done, Kate. I like it. Now, an interesting one here. Medik8 have got a new serum as well, and this is their Calm Wise anti-redness serum. And what I find interesting about this is it's not actually a serum, it's an oil. Now, so many brands call their oils serums, and it's really naughty of them because there's a fundamental difference between an oil and a serum. Serums tend to be water-based and an oil is oil-based, obviously. A perfect case in point was somebody was asking me a question recently on Instagram, and they said, what do you think of Vintner's Daughter serum? And I said, well, it's not a serum, it's an oil. And she went, well, they call it a serum. And I went, look at the ingredients. It's so obviously a combination of plant oils and essential oils. I said, and I'm not a fan of essential oils, and I'm really not a fan of oils on the skin. I said, and what's interesting is they launched it and they called it a serum, and now they've got an essence. Now the essence is a serum. And I actually quite like the essence. But they obviously couldn't then call it Vintner's Daughter's oil, because that's what they needed to do with the original product, and call the new one a serum. An essence is actually a water. It's much lighter than a serum. An essence is something you would splash or spray on. A serum is slightly thicker. Anyway, just be wary of the fact that some brands call their serums their oils serums. Anyway, Medik8 is not that company. Medik8 is a really good company. I absolutely love most of their products. And this is an interesting one because they call this an oil serum, and it is an oil. How do they describe it? Let's have a look on here. They call it Calm Wise Serum, a lightweight oil-based serum. It is super, super light, that helps to repair your skin's lipid barrier. Now, what's interesting about this is it's got an organic sage extract in it that actually has been proven to be calm on the skin as well. So it's a combination of a jojoba oil and a sage oil. It's not for me because I don't particularly like oils, but I would be interested to see if anybody has tried this out there that's got skin prone to redness. Because one thing I would say with rosacea is don't put oil on your skin. It's one of the first rules of dermatology when you've got rosacea. But I think I might try this just around my nose to see what it's like. But it is, in fact, an oil. It's one of those incredibly modern, lightweight oils. But the minute you do that, you can feel it's an oil. So better to use at night. Personally, I don't like oils during the day. People always wonder why their makeup doesn't last when they put it on top of oil. Because the oil actually doesn't really sink into the skin that well. Anyway, one to look out for if you're prone to redness. I will be trying it around my nose. So 2 traditional serums and an oil serum from Medik8. However, let's look at other things that I think are probably slightly more reasonably priced but contain what you need, which is basically things that mimic your natural moisturising factor. And you'll not be surprised here, the first thing I mentioned is the ordinary NMF. And I remember when I interviewed Brandon about this, he was saying this is everything you need. And what he did was he tried to mimic the natural moisturising factors in the skin as much as possible, and he basically said that this was just amino acid rich, and that's exactly what it is. So it's got glycerin, and it's got urea, and it's got hyaluronic acid in, and it's got some amino acids in. And basically I just thought it was really clever that he called it NMF, and it is my absolute favourite moisturiser. It is a moisturiser, it's not a serum, but it goes on like a moisturiser and then sinks in seconds. It's a beautiful base for makeup. I really like it. It's a lovely product, completely unfragranced. Look at the CUREL range as well. I've talked about CUREL a lot. HYDRALURON do the best, I think, high street hyaluronic acids, and they are going into Superdrug, I promise, sometime soon. I think it's probably going to be end of May, beginning of June. Well, CUREL are ceramide rich range, and it's very interesting. They have a lightweight mist lotion, but I do like their milk as well, and this is essentially a serum, and it's just loaded with ceramides in a really lightweight moisturizing base. All of it's unfragranced, because I don't really think if you've got a barrier function issue you should be using fragrance on your skin at all. Look at CUREL. You literally have everything from the essence right the way through to a cream. Choose whichever formula you like, but the active ingredients are essentially ceramides. So ceramides are secreted by the skin naturally, and they sit between the skin cells and they keep the skin watertight, so they stop water from leaving. As you get older, you get less ceramides. Indeed Labs do a really lovely product called 10 Balm Body Lotion, which is loaded with squalene and oils and allantoin and all that sort of stuff. It's obviously for the body and for drier skin, but if you are going to use a drier skin product, it's a really nice one to probably repair the barrier function, but more importantly just give it a sort of raincoat if your body skin is, or your face is really dry at this time of year. Obviously we're going from spring into early summer here now, so we're beginning to notice. I also love the Indeed HYDRALURON Intense Moisture Lotion. It's my favourite one within that entire HYDRALURON group. And they call it an intense moisturiser. I find it quite lightweight, but I absolutely love it. It's a sort of lotion, serum, lightweight. I mean, I wouldn't call it a cream, but it's beautiful. Really, really lovely product. Nice to use at night, nice to buffer in with retinols, nice just to give your skin a sort of intense drink of natural moisturising factor ingredients. Zoe Medical do Restore Calm, and I think it's really interesting that a lot of these products originally came from medical brands, because they saw obviously if somebody was having laser treatment or somebody was having a peel, they needed to go home with something that would help repair their barrier function after the treatments they'd had, and that's a really nice one, really similar in formulation to that, bit more expensive. And then if you're on a budget, Simple Calming Moisturiser is a perfect case in point. It's got all your skin needs really to help boost the natural moisturising factors as much as possible, but without things like fragrance or any irritants at all. And all of these things are unfragranced. None of them have any colour in it at all. Anything that your skin essentially doesn't need, all these skin products are trying to do is put back what your skin might be lacking. And I think it's really interesting that serums are now finally playing a role in this. Other things to look out for, I have mentioned it before, the Liz Earle CICA Restore Paste is really lovely. Obviously it's based around something like the ROCHE CICA Blast, and interestingly enough it doesn't have any fragrance in it. A lot of people ask me what I think about Liz Earle skincare. I think if you haven't got sensitive skin, great, you know. Personally, I don't use essential oils on my skin. I don't use any fragrance unless I can help it on my skin, maybe in a bit of a cleanser or something like that, and makeup, but not really in my skincare. It's interesting that they launched that product and it doesn't have any fragrance in it. So there you are, that's my review of things to look out for. You might not necessarily need to buy a new product. If you do, they're the two that I'm most recommending at the moment. Both peptides, both have hyaluronic acid, glycerin and things like that to give your skin back what it naturally needs in its natural moisturising factors. However, you might well have a product that's sitting around that's great for you anyway. I mean, if you follow me, there's a good chance you will have hyaluronic acid, you will have glycerin, you will have cholesterol, you will have ceramides, you will have peptides in your skincare anyway. I've got lovely moisturised arms now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What are you loving for sensitive skin? What's your go-to calming product? And I bet you're going to say 1% hydrocortisone because I've got one of those stuck in the back as well. But if you're not going to use a steroid cream, what would you use to calm your skin in troubled times? These are my current favourites. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.